Ew, ew. Y'all know what it is. Big fish ish. So today, all right, calling all college kids, high school students, parents. If you're interested in going to college, if you're thinking about it, or if you just want to learn a little bit about, how the college landscape is operating as far as whether or not the return on the investment makes it worth it to still pay these, in a lot of cases, absurd amounts to go to college. All right. So is college still worth it? Or is college worth it? However, you want to ask yourself that question. But we're going to have the discussion. Like I said, we're going to give, a lot of the pros, a lot of the cons, because like many other topics, it's not just a, black and white type of thing. There is a lot of gray area, but hopefully we can have the discussion that for anybody that is interested, entertaining the thought, at least you'll have a little bit more to go off of. So that way you can make an informed decision. And yeah, so we actually have a video from David Ramsey, Dave Ramsey, finance guy. He gives his insight on it. But I want to start off with just the first couple minutes of another video by Jordan Peterson. So, is college worth it? Let's get into this video by Jordan Peterson. Like I said, I only want to play the first couple minutes of it, but I do think that he starts off with something that is very important, and I would love to share it with y'all. So here we go.
So there's some high school students here. And there's some parents who brought their high school students.
You got
So there's
me.
a couple of
Voluntarily, I hope.
well, or the kids brought their parents. I'm
Yeah,
not sure which.
maybe.
But what advice would you have for 18 and 19-year-old who feels that college isn't for them?
Well, it's possible that college isn't for you. I mean, there's other things you can do that are productive. If you're wondering, if you're a high school student and you're wondering if college is for you, one of the things I would recommend is choose as an alternative something equally or more difficult. And I would say to all of you, if you're ever facing a decision in your life, this is kind of a good rule of thumb, because you always have to ask yourself, is this not right for me, or am I just useless and lazy? And looking for an easy way out, right? Because some people are more prone to that than others. If you're not very conscientious, for example, you're going to be more prone to that sort of thing.
So, like I said, I just wanted to play the first minute or so just to start off, set the tone. I think this is very important for us to at least make sure that we have the right mindset going into it, especially when we're thinking about going to college ourselves, especially coming right out of high school. We all know that that's the typical thing that people do. So a lot of us just, like sheep, just continue to just, oh, everybody goes to college, so I go to college. And then there's always been another group of people that, will say, oh, I don't want to go to college because I'd rather do this or do that. And a lot for some, I'm not going to say the majority of those people, but for some of them, we typically do, and I do it myself. We consult with our convenience. So what do I mean when I say we consult with our convenience? If something that we really don't want to do, we'll think of any reason to justify not looking into it, not doing the research, not doing the due diligence, so that way we can make as an informed a decision as possible. We know that there's so going into this video, let's go into it with understanding the bias we have. I was going to say with as little bias as possible, but understand the bias that we do have. Understand which side we're leaning to before we even watch the video, and take that into account. So take that into account and understand that. Why I say take it into account is because if we go into it, and this video, trying to justify why we should go to college, we may miss a lot of things that may show us why we maybe should entertain not going, and vice versa as well. If we just don't want to go to college, we may miss some of the pros in actually going to college. So just wanted to, get our minds right before we dive into such an important topic, because it affects us in a lot of different ways. It's a huge commitment, a huge investment, both from the student with the time, the money, the loans, as well as the parents. So let's get into this, and I'll get into the video that I wanted to start off with. We're gonna, review Dave Ramsey on the Ramsey Show and his co-host. what their thoughts are, and then we're going to implement ours and have a little discussion. So let's get into it.
So this free op, how do you say this?
I think it's just free op.
Free op.
FREOPP.org. Yeah.
They just did a full comprehensive rate of return analysis on college, and it's called Is College Worth It? And it's from freeop.org, FRE1EOPP. So this report assesses the economic value of nearly 30,000 bachelor's degree programs at 1,775 colleges and universities across the United States. Very interesting, detailed study on this. 4 in 5 engineering programs have an ROI above $500,000.
Wow.
You get a degree in engineering, you will make your money back and make an extra $500,000 over your life.
That's STEM.
At least as a result of having done this. But what was the number? Was it 1 in 16? What was the 16 number?
16% have a negative ROI of all programs.
So almost 1 in 5 of all, not engineering, of all degrees. So when you get this degree and you pay too much for it at some kind of a famous school because you wanted to go to a famous school, or you study something that's just dumb. You're just dumb for getting a degree in that. It's kind of weird that we're dumb about education, but we are. And that's just dumb to get a degree in this nuanced BB stacking, underwater BB stacking. I've got a master's degree in that. I've got a master's degree in Czechoslovakian medieval art.
That doesn't ROI?
You're not going to make money on this, dude. This is going to be there's only one thing you can do with that. Become a professor of Czechoslovakian art. That's all you can do. There's no jobs for that except at Starbucks.
All right, so y'all understand what he's saying? Should be very clear. Obviously, he's saying it in the way that he says it. I'm not too familiar with Dave Ramsey. I'll be totally honest. This is one of the few videos that I've seen on him. I know a little bit about his background, but listening to anybody, and this is a big thing for me, listening to anybody, we got to be able to just take the information and maybe not necessarily allow maybe how it's being told to us to affect us. So based on what he's saying, we all know that a lot of us, we go to college, and, one of the things that when we're deciding our major is what we're passionate about. What do you like? What's fun? What do you enjoy? What can you be passionate about? What would you not mind working hard, or what wouldn't even seem as work? Whereas we're not going into it when we're picking our major, and we don't sit down with any counselors or anything like that. At least I didn't, and go over the return of our investment. Now here, I even attended the business school, and as I'm having the conversation with you all, I'm sitting here thinking like, wow, that would be a great project, for the business school to do, maybe to have some of the students help out, when it comes to consulting in this area, because it would seem to me that when you're choosing a major, you're making a huge investment in purchasing the opportunity to earn a degree, right? So therefore, based on that huge investment, you would think that to evaluate, which vehicle you're going to take to get you to whatever goal it is that you have for after college, you want to evaluate and figure out the Carfax, right, on that particular vehicle. So it's the same thing as far as the return investment when choosing a major. You want to know all the facts about that particular major and what your return is going to be based on your significant investment. So a lot of us will choose a lot of majors in which we're not even aware of the fact that when we're choosing them, that they don't pay significantly, that we're not aware of any of it, like as far as like, how can I find what does a career look like in this field? All these different things we don't take into account, and we should be taking them into account because they're going to factor into our decision, I would assume. We're going to college, we're majoring in these different things with the purpose, for most of us, to make money, to make money. So therefore, why would we not factor in that return when it comes to the financial return, as well as the opportunities overall in what we're going to decide to do and what we're going to decide to invest our time in to get this major, to study this particular area. So we'll keep the video going, and we'll keep commenting.
That's it. And so you're going to be a barista. That's what you're going to be. And there's no ROI on your Czechoslovakian medieval art degree. So this is the thing, like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and it goes on to say here, and this is no shocker, that the bachelor's degree programs like engineering, computer science, economics, nursing, they do have a positive ROI. But when you start to go into art, music, philosophy, religion, psychology, it says students can be financially worse off than if they'd never gone to college at all. And so that scares me. And a lot of people, they're not thinking about college choice, and they're not thinking about the ROI of their degree. And we talk about how we're not against education. We just want the education to match the goals. So if you want to be a nurse, yes, you got to go to school. But if you want to go into art, unless you want to be an art teacher, you may not need to go get a 4-year degree at the Ivy League school.
Yeah, and after accounting for the risk of dropping out, ROI for the median bachelor's degree drops to $129,000 on average. That's the median. Over a quarter of the programs have a negative ROI. Elite schools like Caltech and Penn dominate the list of the highest ROI programs, but attending an elite school is not a golden ticket. Some Ivy League degrees have negative ROI. And let me just tell you, it's hard to get an ROI when you pay $200,000 for a bachelor's degree.
That part. So it's difficult. It's difficult because the reason why I said earlier that we are just like sheep, just getting herded into college, just doing what, we've been told and indoctrinated our entire life that you go, you start off in preschool if your community has preschool, then you go to, elementary school, then you go to middle school, then you go to high school, and then you go to college, right? So that's what we were always just brought up on and what was instilled in us. However, when we look at it, it was instilled in us largely because of our parents and our grandparents who either, they saw college differently, and because college was different. These academic institutions were not charging these crazy prices that are being charged now. The average, it's absurd. When you let's look at some of the average prices of college. Let's look that up. Average cost of college. Let's take a look at that. What does college cost on average? The average total cost for a year of college at a 4-year school, including tuition and fees, on-campus room and board, book supplies, and other expenses, was $35,000. That's roughly $142,000 over 4 years. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. And that, is it different for a private school? The average cost of tuition. Yeah, so that's it's costly. It's costly. And I saw something, and to me, that's a good price. Like I feel like it was a lot more than that. But I don't know. Let's check out a different site real quick. What does this say? It says the total cost of attending a post-secondary institution includes this. All right, so let me see if it gives me an average. For example, in 2021, the average total cost of attendance for first-time, full-time undergraduate students living on campus at 4-year institutions was higher at private nonprofit institutions, which is $55,800, and at private for-profit institutions, $32,900, and public institutions, $26,000. So I guess it all factors out. Okay, so we will accept for the time being until other information is presented that it's about $35,500. So $35,551. That's the average cost. That's $142,000 over 4 years. So that doesn't factor into the loans as well as the amount that you're going to pay on the loan, the interest you're going to pay on the loan. I don't believe that no, I know that number doesn't factor it in. But that's something that should be factored in. It's a tough decision. It's a tough decision. And the point that I was gonna make earlier is when our parents were going to school, the investment wasn't as high. Like the prices were not as high compared to the return that you would get. So now with the prices skyrocketing, but it's not like the return is skyrocketing, because what ended up happening? before, when not as many people were going to college, a college degree was seen as, oh my God, like this is an amazing thing. You can walk in any door, get any job, you kind of had the green light. But now it's not the case. Now everybody has a college degree. So a college degree, you walk into a lot of these job opportunities, and a college degree is almost viewed as like a high school diploma because everybody has it. So therefore, because everybody has it, the value isn't as much. Supply and demand, right? Simple. So if we need to look at whether or not it's worth it, we have to take that into account. And a lot of times our parents' generation and older generations, they'll say, well, college did this for me, and this is what. Yes, but it's a different time. Like, we have to now update that iPhone and figure out if it still makes sense at this point in time that we're living in. So
I don't care what it's in. It's hard to get a return on that investment. And versus if you'd have paid $60,000 for that same degree from a state school, you would have gotten the same freaking job, by the way.
that's an excellent point. I am a big proponent of, a huge fan of community college, of taking a gap year right after high school, figuring out exactly what you want to do, maybe working, volunteering, doing whatever you need to do, then going to college with a lot more intent. When you go to college with more intent and understanding just overall on life, and that gap year can give you a lot of that, especially if you're working or whatever you're doing. It can give you that. So you'll go with a more mature mindset and more intent on what it is exactly that you want to do now that you've had a little experience outside of school and just living in the world. So that part.
Same exact job if you got, a degree in IT.
And of course, as he pointed out, the state schools. So the state schools are going to cost less than going out of state. So community college and then the state schools, to me, if you're going to get the same job, then that's what I would lean more into. So
Security, 4-year degree in information systems, specialization in IT security. Excellent degree field. You got a degree in supply chain. Oh my God, obviously we need some of those people working right now. And so, you got a degree in that. That's a big time job. I mean, most of those jobs, people are coming out state school making $85,000 right now with an undergrad. Wow. No masters. Okay. And now that's a legitimate ROI, and you paid $60,000 for that or less for that degree. But if you want to go freaking over to some Ivy League and pay $2.25 for that, it doesn't ROI as quick, and even when it does, it's not as good, obviously, because you overpaid for virtually the same education.
Yeah.
Is this the same thing when it comes to like a lot of these bigger schools, the Ivy League schools, the ones that obviously are going to charge a much greater tuition? Is it like clothing? Whereas that same T-shirt, you can have one T-shirt, same T-shirt, and it could have Zara on it, and it may cost about $25. But that same T-shirt, if you put some of these big brands, these fashion brands, if it says, I don't know, Dior on it or Louis, Gucci, whatever, I don't know what's in right now. That same $25 shirt at Zara now just went up to $150. You get what I'm saying? And you'll put it on and damn near be feeling like the fabric's different. But when you look at a lot of these, when you look into where they produce their clothes, same factories. Oh, well, we just used, this percentage of, this little bit less cotton, a little bit more, whatever. I don't know. It's the same thing. However, the return, I don't know. Maybe the return is worth it. Maybe the return with the clothing when you're wearing that Dior shirt around, maybe the influence that you'll have, how people are looking for whatever you're looking for. Maybe you receive that having that shirt on compared to a Zara shirt. So maybe it is worth paying the extra amount. Maybe people will see you differently. Maybe people will see you in a more elevated light. So it may be worth it for you. It's just something that we have to decide. So that's how I look at a lot of these, bigger schools, to where, that degree, do I think that the education at Harvard, I don't know, Yale, Princeton is better than the College of William and Mary where I went to? Shout out, y'all see the degree. We're at College of William. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I don't think so. However, I think that obviously the marketing and William and Mary, they call it a public Ivy. Nah, we just William and Mary. You feel me? We just the college of William and Mary. But all joking aside, the branding that those schools have, it may be worth it. It may be worth it to have that Princeton diploma to where you can walk into any place and maybe people look at it like, oh, shoot, you went to Princeton? You went to Harvard? You went to Yale? It may be worth it. So that return, and a lot of times we may not necessarily be able to put a value on some of that return. But just being able to say that you have an Ivy League degree, that may be worth it. So it's not about saying, one is worth it, one's not, but just understanding the decision that we're making with as much information as possible so we can do what's in our best interest.
Yeah, I almost fell into that trap. I almost went to film school, and it cost $200,000 for 4 years. And I didn't even know about Ramsey, and I thought, this doesn't sound like a good idea. I don't know that I'm going to be the next big director, so maybe I shouldn't spend $200,000 on film school.
Another thing. What are we on right now? What are we on right now? YouTube. Right? I'm looking at a YouTube video from a financial expert. This is another thing that our parents did not have. So therefore, we have to take this into account as well. When we talk, if we're just solely going to college to learn something, then we need to figure out if there's other ways, more affordable ways or free ways that we can learn, like going on YouTube and seeing a lot of our favorite influencers, favorite experts, people in our industries that are highly successful. A lot of times we can learn directly from them rather than going to a college and I'm learning from professors who are career professors rather than, let's say, a career entrepreneur. If I want to study, I'm an entrepreneur in, I don't know, any industry. Let's think of a industry. If I want to be, what industry would be a cool example for this? I can't hear y'all telling me any recommendations. But let's look at any industry. Like I just think about sales whenever I think of sales, which I think actually is one of the greatest skills that all of us should learn, no matter what industry that you're in, because you are always selling. You are always selling yourself, a product. You are the product. You are always the product. Don't believe me? Go to any interview and tell me you don't feel like you're selling yourself. All right. So I don't know. Let's look at, obviously like things like a plumber, mechanic. You don't need to go to school for this, but even film school, let's just use the example that he used. I'm sure that there's somebody on YouTube that I can go in on their page and learn from real life experts a lot more than I would learn from a college professor. Why? Because these experts are actually in the field every day. And I'm learning from them in real time as they're going through the real life issues. You see a guy like Grant Cardone. A lot of people, when it comes to real estate, they are teaching exactly what they're doing. So a professor, like depending on the major, the field that I want to go into, the industry, then I have to take that into account. And now so our next video, I was going to actually do both videos kind of together, but this video is going to be solely focused on, is college worth it? The next video is going to be on how to truly maximize your time at college, how to maximize your college experience. So I want to separate the two and just focus on, this part here. But we have to ask ourselves all these different questions. Can I learn that same thing from an actual expert on YouTube for less money or free? Or can I maybe sign up for one of their programs? I guarantee you, if you were to give $120,000 to Grant Cardone to teach you, or to maybe some of your other influencers on here that want to teach you, I'm sure that they would gladly accept and gladly give you an amazing teaching experience. Now, obviously, you're going to have to vet that out as well, but think about what you would get as far as your return. So let's keep going.
Wow.
So there's a lot of mistakes people are making, and it all comes down to parents, guidance counselors, the college industry. There's so much pressure that these 17, 18-year-olds are feeling to make the biggest financial decision of their life.
Well, and across the culture, we've lied to them that you have to get a college degree to succeed. A, not true. B, the implication is that getting a college degree in something stupid.
And when he says that they lied, I'm extending a little bit of grace here. Everything that I said, I don't think that our parents intentionally lied to us. Now, the college and all the marketing that they do, they're lying. A lot of these colleges are lying because they understand if you're in that industry, if you're selling a particular product, then you are responsible, in my opinion, to give us real information. I'm gonna hold you accountable to that. And if you don't, then it's still on me. However, the colleges are well aware, but I just don't want us to think that, oh, well, the parents are just lying to us intentionally. I don't think that. Even some of the teachers, I don't necessarily think that they're lying. People in general, whether or not it's your parents or not, I think that they're just so accustomed to college being the only way to be successful that they don't see the alternatives. They don't recognize them. They're busy and not necessarily going to do the due diligence and research to figure out, oh, you could do this. Also, please keep in mind that if they went to college, they're going to be looking for ways to justify the reason why they went to college. So they're more so likely to give you reasons why you should go as well. So let's just keep all that into account. We've got to take it all into account. But I do want to just say that on his point, like when they said that they're lying, I don't think that it's necessarily in a malicious, with malicious intent. It's just more so an ignorant standpoint as far as just not knowing the information. So
Is okay. It's not okay. C, going to any stupid school and overpaying is okay. That's not okay either. So get a degree that you don't pay a lot for in something that causes you to actually go into the marketplace and win.
Boom.
I can't disagree with that at all. Matter of fact, I got to run that back as far as what he just said, because I know I interrupted you. I wanted to make sure you heard everything that he said.
The implication is that getting a college degree in something stupid is okay. It's not okay. C, going to any stupid school. Not true. I've lied to them that you have to get a college degree to succeed. A, not true. B, the implication is that getting a college degree in something stupid is okay. It's not okay. C, going to any stupid school and overpaying is okay. That's not okay either. So get a degree that you don't pay a lot for in something that causes you to actually go into the marketplace and win.
Boom. There's the formula.
So, but I mean, the meme that's going around, I saw it the other day on Instagram, the one time a month I'm on there, said, here's Jim, the philosophy major, who hasn't had a job in 2 years, and he lives in his mother's basement, or he lives in his whatever. And here's Joe, who Jim makes fun of because he doesn't have a college degree, making $85,000 a year as a lineman. He's cutting off Jim's electricity right now. So that's the meme that's going on.
That's a good meme.
So that's it. That's what's going on. So check it out, borrowedfuture.com. Make sure your teens are watching this. Degrees and knowledge are important. Doing them stupid would be a bad idea.
So definitely appreciate you, Dave Ramsey, and your team, your co-host. Sorry, I don't know the gentleman's name, but a lot to think about. A lot to think about. And when we're having these conversations, and keep in mind, I'm going to put out another video with how to maximize your college experience, because I do think that college does offer a tremendous value if we go into it with a certain level of intent and understanding and knowledge. So it's just something for us to think about. Is college worth it? And I think the question, just asking ourselves that question in a genuine way, is so important, because like anything else, when you question something and you do the research, it's either going to lead you to standing on exactly what you thought, maybe even more stronger, or it may trigger something to say like, oof, I was thinking over here. Now I'm thinking over here, or at least I'm questioning what I was initially thinking. I need to do more research, ask more questions, speak to more people, all these different things. So I think just asking ourselves the question is the big thing. Once again, my takeaway is to, if you can, go to community college, take a gap year, maybe get some real world experience, whatever that may be, whether it's working, volunteering, interning, whatever that may be. And then what else did I say? I said, staying in school, staying in state. If you're going to go to school, find an in-state school. It's cool. You don't have to get that far away from your parents. You will still have your free time, and there are a lot of benefits that I missed out on. I wish I could have gone to school right near the crib, man. What? You got an apartment right near where you grew up? Come on now. So there's a lot of benefits, but then but I can't even say that's a benefit. If you have a scholarship, then it's a benefit. But if you're paying for it, don't get that. Don't stay on campus. Stay off campus. Stay off campus. Stay at home, at least for your first, freshman or sophomore year. Stay at home so that way you're not spending that money. And then, maybe if you're, working a little bit, while you're in school, maybe you met a couple people where you can go in on, a couple roommates, then, maybe go get your own apartment. But don't feel the need to just live on campus, especially not paying those on-campus prices. Maybe wait a year or so and then, get some roommates and just get an apartment with your people. But on campus, to me, that's a tough expense to make. I know that there's a lot of pros to it. I just don't know if the pros add up to the cons. So I don't know if the investment adds up to the return as far as staying on campus. But yeah, so those things keep in mind. For one, maybe take a gap year, take some time with some real world experience. 2, look into community college. 3, stay in state. 4, stay home. Stay home, commute, especially your first year or so. Commute and then see what opportunities come about as far as living, as you're there, either your sophomore, junior, or senior year. So that's my takeaway. Is college worth it? Through a lot of stuff your way, you need to evaluate it, not only just based on is college overall worth it, but get very particular as far as what you are going to choose to study and get a major in. Is that worth it? Because just saying is college worth it, we have to dive into it a little bit deeper and get the particulars to really get the best feedback, as far as us on an individual basis, just based on our situation. Because college may not be worth it for this person over here, may not be worth it for this person over here, but it may be worth it for me. So consider all things, make a decision, ask a lot of questions, do your due diligence and research, and that way you'll feel comfortable about the decision that you make moving forward. So with that, I'll let y'all go. Y'all know what we do. We elevate on purpose. And when I say on purpose, I'm talking about both with intent, intent. I keep saying this word, intent, the focus on one particular thing or having an understanding, that intent needs to be there. But then also when I say elevate on purpose, I mean, as far as what our overall purpose is in life and what we're here for, the impact that we want to make, the legacy that we want to leave. So onward and upward, strength and honor. Let's get to the bag and let's evaluate all opportunities. All right. With big integrity. So get to the bag with integrity, of course. And let's win. Let's win. All right. So I shall talk to you all soon and look out for the next video that is going to dive into how to maximize your college experience. And with that, I'll let y'all go and make sure you send this to all the college kids, like the video, and send to some parents, whoever that may be in a part of that decision-making process when it comes to college, and send to some colleges, man, figure out how they can step their game up. If you know anybody in admissions or anything like that, let's tell them to step their game up and make it worth it. So I'll see y'all soon. Ooh.